Okay, there we go. Just crying that it needed a thing. All right. So I've already got a project open. I opened up a brand new 3D URP or SRP, whatever the Universal 3D they're calling it. I've got nothing in here. It's fantastic. Um, we're gonna do some shopping and find some cool stuff today. So what we want, I've got the asset store open here, and just go to the asset store. Start with environment. Just look for environment, and then of course naturally filter for free. And we just want a good place that we can run around. We're going to do some 3D animated characters. I've got a couple that I'm going to give you, and we're going to walk through setting those up, getting all the animations out of them, triggering those all properly, and then we're going to find a couple more characters. So by the end of this week, we'll have like 4 animated characters, one of which you'll be in control of. We'll do some melee fighting with them, and then yeah, so we'll at least have one-on-one with the 3D animated characters, and then the 2 other characters, if you just want to like go 3-on-1, or they can just be NPCs walking around Navmesh agent style. So find some good stuff. This old, oh, you know what? I might go with this. I might go with the seaport. There's some good villages. If there's something you want, do it sci-fi base, a coffee shop, whatever. We're gonna have kind of a hodgepodge week. I want it, so we want a good environment that we can run around in, like things to hide behind and dodge, and other rooms to go into. But I don't want to spend the whole week doing level building. So we're gonna find samples and just use those. So I'm gonna probably, I'm just gonna go see if I can grab this. So I've got the seaport. This is kind of a fun one. Yeah, this looks like where I want cartoon robots and gingerbread men to fight at, for sure. Let's open that up. I've already got it downloaded, and import that. Yeah, but I want more level than that. So throw a boxing ring in the middle of your seaport, and then you're set, right? Yeah, sure. I like it.
Sports resort. That the final boss.
And then we wait.
That's why he has to go.
Okay, so new project. Yeah, I did the Universal 3D. Yeah, they've changed what the templates are called a few times, so that's what the current template is we're going with. And that should be downloaded. We'll leave that for now. So let me just go ahead and we'll look at our seaport, make sure it even works in this. Dock thing. That's a really well named. Yep. Love this. Yeah. All right. So we know what to do. Go to materials. So these are built in. The skybox works though. So grab all of those, edit, renderer, rendering, materials, convert, pray, wait. While that's happening, I did go ahead and I've got a page here in our module for the week. just a bunch of cool stuff that I found. So some 3D characters that have animations and a bunch of different environments from almost, someone wanted to make Minecraft, almost Minecraft looking, like, again, whatever you want. We're gonna stomp through them with various unmatching characters, but yeah, but grab whatever. Okay, everything updated except for the water, so that's disturbing. And the maple bark. Yeah, old seaport water material with normals. What if I just said be standard? Nope. Oh, okay. I probably messed something up. So we can just find some other water, maybe. Oh, it's because the material's over here. There we go. Different folder. So same thing, edit rendering materials. And then I probably need to change that back because I told it to be something else. And then broke it again. All right. Now I've just got to reconvert it. So the good news and the bad news is there's so many assets out there. It's good and bad. So the part of the problem is it doesn't want to convert that one. Part of the problem is just old stuff. So you're going to get varying levels of compatibility with what we're doing. So change this to a standard specular and then convert it. We'll try it one more time, then we'll just go find some other water. Or we completely mess with everybody, and this dock is sitting on a desert sand. Oh, okay, that worked. So I went specular and then converted it. What's going on with these fences? Is this the maple that we were looking at? Oh, there they converted. All right. So we've got a nice little level to walk around in. We'll come back to it. Yeah, that'll be fun. And again, whatever level you want. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as another scene. So save as, and we'll pop it into my own scenes folder. Doc, I don't know, level. I'll make a new scene. Just a basic. So I'm going to do a basic scene just for testing. We're going to get our character in and get him working before we try to get him set up with our level. Same thing, save as. I'm going to save this. We're going to call it test scene, and it's good to have one of those just so you can work bugs out in that without messing up your actual level, as we well know. All right, I'm going to give it a floor. So just a 2D or 3D cube. Go like 200 wide. Set it all at 0. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this horrible creation that we have. See, he's linked here somewhere. I got to find him. No, that's just for the animated controller. It must be on the assignment page. We'll get there. All right, this guy is we're gonna set up first. This gingerbread man. Yeah, he's kind of deliberately terrible. And then I've got a different version of him that we can use for an enemy. So I'll download this Gingy Attacks FBX. So what we're doing, I've kind of done when I used to do the 3D animation class. We would make the character and rig him and everything else, and then bring him into Unity. Since we've split those out, this is a character already made for us. But this is something that actually the Gingy's one I made, so blame me. Because you were making fun of it? Yeah. It was like a really quick, like, I don't know, throw them together in 30 minutes kind of a guy. Wow. Wow. All right. So I bring him in. I think he's just got colors on him. Yeah. I at one point had, like cool cookie looking normal maps and stuff on him, but he's just a dude. He's a little dude with some colors, and everything that he's got right now is in one animation. And so we want to break that out. Let me just drag him there. So he's here, standing under the ground. Yeah. Yeah, you can change his color. He's just colors. He's not. Look, it's brown. Yeah. I like a nice crispy burnt cookie, okay? All right, so we can just look at him. He's just this dude. That's just an outer empty. Gingy is the character here. He's a skinned mesh, and then all of his armature, his bones, is all up in here. So he's like a fully rigged thing. Let's see if I can hide that. Are the bones even showing? No, the bones are invisible for us. But yeah, no, there's an invisible skeleton inside of him. Don't worry about it. You won't notice it when you're chewing on him. Yeah. I said I like it crispy. Okay, so he's just there. I'm gonna get him out of the scene for now. We're gonna do some work on him. So if you come down here to the project window, we're used to seeing stuff like the scaling on the models and things like that, or materials. We've had to adjust some materials, and even though they're showing up, it says I need to extract them. I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my folder structures while we're here. So in the materials folder, and then the models folder. Drag Gingy in there. Okay, so back here in the inspector, I'm going to go ahead and extract his materials just in case we want to change some things up. Throw those in the materials folder. Then we've got access to him if we need to change some stuff. So here's where if you want to make him, not as burnt of a cookie, or just change the color of the frosting, things like that. All right, back to the model. So with this guy selected, one thing we haven't looked at much is this animation tab. And so I can pull this guy up. There we go. So down here, all of his animations are in one big loop right now. And he's really slow. It's just really like literally threw this guy together in 20, 30 minutes. So he's got a very aggressive handshake that we could call an attack. It was supposed to be an attack. It looks like a handshake. We got a jump. kind of an idle. That's his punch. He just got hit. He doesn't have a death animation because we assume he's immortal, I guess.
I mean, you can't catch him.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. All right, so that's all one big animation take called take one, and that goes from frame 1 to 330. We need to split that up. Now, the stuff that we're going to get from the Unity Asset Store are usually going to have their animations all chunked out for us. But if we did it ourselves in Blender or Maya or whatever, don't use Maya, then we've got to do this, which is actually kind of cool. Let me see if I've left some instructions for us on what frames are what. Like I haven't done this 100 times. Yeah, I guess I didn't. All right. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we got our guy here. Let's see what the first part of the clip looks like. Immediately walking, jumping, bobbing, that's his idle, aggressive smack. So the walk goes from, say, 1 to, and then back down. 1 to 60, look like about frame 60. So here, again in the inspector, do this clip thing, hit plus, we'll call it walk, and then we've got the access to the clip numbers or the frame numbers here. So walk is now, I'll go ahead and hit apply. Let's see what that looks like looping. So yeah, we want to loop it. We'll definitely want to speed him up, but there's his derpy walk. All right, from 1 to 60. So we'll go ahead and do another one. Call it jump. Jump will start at 61. If I left any buffer time in there, usually we'll leave some dead frames so you can tell where they start. I think we can start that at 65 probably. And for now, we'll do it all as one. Usually when we're doing a 3D character with a jump, we'll do it in 3 phases. So we've got like the launch, right? Crouch down and go up. We'll have a little bit of a loop for however long he's in the air, which we'll hold at. And then when he lands finally, so we usually do that in 3 parts. But for now, I'm just going to do it as one, and we'll figure it out in a minute if we need to chunk it later. And so it starts at 65 and goes to, well, now let's do it right. Okay, so that'll be to 100. Just call it jump start, which is not him getting hit with battery cables. It's a different thing. So that went to 100, and then we'll just make more loops. So here we go to the second one, which will be jump, and I'll call it air loop. We'll start that at the same 100, and let's just see if there's a few frames in here we can hold them on a frame. Let's go to 102. Let's see what that looks like. And so this from 100 to 102. Oh, that's pretty cursed. We like it. Why is that the fastest animation we've got? We'll start that at 98. A little variance. So he's trying to fly. Yeah, we like it. So 98 to 102. That's going to be our air loop. And I do have it set to loop. I'm going to hit apply so it saves that. And you can see here, if I open up the guy now, we've got all these new animation clips inside that FBX model. So now we need to land it. Jump, land. Start that at 102 to however. Crouches down, he's recovering. It looks like he's fully recovered by 130. Oh, I'm back to take one. All right, let's just look at the land by itself. So that's him descending, not ascending, descending. I like it. All right. So that we ended at 130. Here we go. I think the next bit on him is an idle. Start at 130 and let's scrub and see what it looks like. So he's kind of bobbing back and forth. Looks like that goes to about 200. So type in 200. Oh, we do want to set that to loop. And let's see what that looks like. He's just swaying back and forth a little bit. There's kind of a pause there. We start that at 135 and see if it flows better. Yeah, a little bit. Tighten it up. Let me try it at 195. Do 140 to 200 and see what that looks like. Yeah, that flows. That flows. Start yours at 142. Okay, you can be different. That's cool. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so we got that set to loop, so we had to apply. And then that ended at 200. Here we go. We'll make another one, and this should be his attack. And yes, it looks like an aggressive handshake, but we could throw a sword in his hand and make it look a little better. It's like, I guess, but that's like every shot. Like, what is that? Like, he's got no reload. Yeah. So we did guns like weeks ago. So we're gonna try and stick with the melee, but yes, yeah, we'll throw a sword in his hand or just like a big old boxing glove. Or a nuclear bomb. Yeah, he's just like, here, have a bomb. We could do that. You guys are just too much. All right, so he rears back, goes forward, and says, "Vote for me." I mean, no, he does look like it's just a handshake, and then he comes back. So it's try and stop it at 265 and see how that. We'll see how it flows. If we need to do anything else, we can. You're done. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to speed up all of our animations, but oof. Yeah. Good to meet you. Rare back. Huh? No, no, I don't even have him. I had him in the test scene for like a half a second, and then I took him out so I could chunk these out. Yeah, I took him out. Speaking of which, we'll do his damage attack now. And I think there's one at the end there where he acts like he got punched in the stomach. So we'll do one more clip. We'll call it damaged. Let's see what's left. So if I start at 270, let's see what this guy looks like. Oof. We don't need all of that. This is just a dead spot at the end. But let's see. Looks like he's recovered by 305. So frame, I'm going to try 275 to 305. It's okay if there's a little popping. We want these things to be quick. Nope, not take one. Oof. Yeah, it just pops a little bit. He's just oofing. We cool? We're cool. All right. So let me drag this guy in here. Let's see how big he even is. Huh?
I just like woke up and like was so stupid.
Oh, that's why, because this is, here we go. So we've got a negative 0.5, so that's, the ground is actually at 0. Gingy. I want to drop in another game object just so I can see if he's scaled right. Yeah, he's a tiny little guy. Yeah, so 1.8 meters is, I think, a 6 foot tall, right? Gingerbread man, that's what we're after here. So he needs to be about that big. All right, and so we could scale him here, but that sucks. But we can just fix it same back in the inspector window. So if I grab the model itself down here, and I come down here to model, and I can scale factor here, and then hit apply, and now he's 6'5". I don't know how big he's. He's taller than 6 foot. The giant one. Let me pull that down a little bit. Let's try 8. Use the scale factor at 8. Yeah, just about right. Okay. So now we got this guy. He's here. I guess he's kind of cool. Does he show up? Camera's way back there. All right. It'll take us probably most of the class just to get him set up. Come back. All right. So I've got a sample script here on the back one. So I'm just going to grab this first bit, and we'll look at it, and then we'll get into the larger script underneath. So I'm going to copy that. Back to my assets folder. I need a scripts folder. then again, right click, create mono behavior script. And I think I had called this Gingy Moves, call it whatever you want, as long as it makes sense for you and anyone who's looking at your code. Did I grab all of that or just the interior? I grabbed all of it. Okay. All right. So we've got an animator, which is going to control our animations. We've made all those clips, and we'll set up an animator to control them all. And we've given it a name of Animate Gingy. So we're going to grab that on start, and then an update. We're not even moving the guy yet, but an update. If we get vertical input, we'll start walking. We'll set that to true. And if there's no vertical input, we set is walking to false. We'll look for the button down jump and start jumping. And then we'll look for fire one, and we'll trigger the will attack animation. Yes, I got that. There it is. All right, now save. And this is just triggering animations. So like we're not even really doing anything. We're not moving him. If I come back here and wait. With him selected, let's see if it just gives me one. Nope, it doesn't. Awesome. All right, back in assets. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in my models folder with him. So I'm going to go ahead and create an animator controller. So create animation animator controller. Gingy control. And then we get this cool visual animation state machine here. And so I'll apply this to Gingy. All right, so I'll go ahead and add an animator to him, and then we'll add this controller there. So we've got our Gingy control, and in here, so I wanted it in this folder. I can start dragging in all these clips. So we'll start with idle, and by default, the first one you drag in is the default animation for that controller. So I drug in idle, so we're not getting any control. Dude's just going to be doing his little sideways bop. Right. Okay. And then just drag the rest in, and we'll set them up. So I've got walk. We like walk. We should probably do that. We've got all of the jumps. So zoom out a little bit. We'll throw those down here. So we'll do the jump start, and then the jump air loop, and then the jump land. And we'll connect all those up here in a minute. And we do have his attack ready to go in that script. And I think that covers everything except for the damaged. So with that, and we'll figure that out later. Okay. So by default, none of these things are being controlled. Right? We're just idling. That's the only on start, we go to idle, and that's the only thing set up. Looking back at our script, we've got a Boolean for is walking. We got different ways to trigger animations. We got Booleans, triggers, and we've even got some numerical input, like if they're hitting this fast, or you've got analog controls, things like that. So I need a Boolean called is walking, and then if it's true, then we're walking, and if it's not, then we're not. I mean, it seems obvious, right? So over here, parameters, I'm going to go ahead and create a new parameter. This is in the side of my animator. I'm going to do it as a bool. Boolean is walking. Now that's set up. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do a couple of triggers. So I'm going to do a trigger for, what did I call it? Is jumping. Start jumping, will attack. So these are triggers, that's bools. So start jumping, will attack. And this is just like all of our variable names. If they don't match, they don't work. Start jumping. And then another trigger for will attack. Lowercase w. All right. So when we start, we go from starting the level right to idle, and we'll go from idle to walk. So I'm just going to, oh, yay. There we go. Make transitions. I'm going to right click from idle, go to walk. Okay. So I can go from idle to walk when if I grab this little arrow between them. Okay, and there's all of that. The first thing I need to do is this conditions at the bottom of that. When I've got the arrow selected, I'm in the inspector window. And so I'm going to hit plus and look for the is walking. So all of the triggers I just made are there. So is walking. If is walking is true, then we're going to go from idle to walk. And then I'm going to right click on walk, make transition, back to idle. And with that arrow pointing back to idle, just basically the opposite, right? So if is walking is false, then we go back to idling. Let's just go ahead and test that before we do any more setup. Remember, we like iterative testing. One thing at a time. Probably should have moved the camera closer to him. So he's just over there bopping. We can zoom in, I guess. And if I hit W, oh, yeah, minor details. I didn't put the script on anything. So let me go back to add component. And that script we just made, Gingy moves, there we go. And then I'll just give it Gingy and it can grab the animator from there. There we go. Now it's set up. Menacingly, yeah. There we go. I hit W. He starts to do his terrible, terrible walk. Go. He stops. Goes back to idling. Huh? It's just slow. We'll speed it up, but right now he's just like, it's goofy. Yeah, I mean, it might be easier to set up an obby. It's not as cool. Okay, so I'm going to take Gingy here. I'm going to spin him around to face the camera. I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer to him. So we can see what's going on. All right. Straight up ready for his close-up. Okay. Go to the animator. And so we need to set up more transitions. So we're going to go from idle, make transition to jump start. And then on this arrow, we're going to set our condition for start jumping. So we've got that trigger set up. So we'll go from idle that loops to jump start. that should not loop. And then when it's done, we'll go from there. So we'll make transition to jump air loop. That one should loop. And then we'll have to set up the conditions for when he landed later. We're going to make transition bound to jump end. Move this over. Come on, I just want you to move. There we go. And then once we land, we'll transition back to idle. Does that kind of make sense visually? Too bad. Okay, so that's set up, we think. Check our transition, so that has exit time works. So we got settings here. It's a fixed duration. And that one shouldn't loop. We'll set up interruption sources later. We'll just leave everything as it is and we'll figure out what happens. Yeah, let's just experiment that way. So jumping should work. Maybe. Since I set loop on loop, it might not want to go to the landing. So if we jump up, we might just start floating. Walking still work. Yes. Jump. Okay, so I only like spaz for a second in the air. Huh? What?
I can see it started a band. It connected. The dots connected.
But it doesn't have like 3 billion triangles. It doesn't give a continuous state of numbers, so it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And we haven't charged $60 for a 2-hour game. Not yet.
But if I can get away with it, yeah. All right. Okay, so the jump animation, again, all we're doing right now is triggering animations, but that works. The walk kind of works. We've got an attack somewhere here. There it is. So from idle, make transition to attack. And then I'll grab that transition. And again, scroll down. I'm going to move this little preview guy down. And we'll add that trigger as a condition. So we'll attack. So when you get a character controller already set up from the Unity Asset Store, this is all you're missing out on. Like, what a bummer. Here we go. Hit control, or whatever your fire button happens to be. It should be the mouse click as well. Oh, I didn't transition back. Yeah. So he did his aggressive handshake, and then like he's totally still. Like we didn't even get back to the idle. Oops. All right. So yeah, he froze. He felt guilty about it, and then he just like froze. Yeah. So we'll just transition back to idle from that. And while we're here, let's just go with all of these. So when you select all of these clips or any of these clips, you can change the timing of them right here on speed. So I'm just going to double everything and we'll see if that looks better. So speed 2 there, speed 2 on the walk. Speed 2, I'll leave the loop where it's at 1. And the jump land, I'll set that to speed 2. We'll come back and adjust that speed once we get control going. We'll be able to make him run. We'll just use the same animation, just make it go faster. All right, let's see how this works. His idle looks a little bit more like he's impatient now. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, it's good walking speed. So the jump launch could be even faster. And then aggressive handshake. I like it. We could even take that aggressive, I mean the attack, and we could chunk that into two different animations so that we can speed up the rear back. Because my goodness, talk about telegraphing, right? Like, remember Punch Out? You can see when they're about to attack. Gingy's got it. Like you're walking up and a gingerbread man does this, just get out of the way. Like if you know you got a couple of seconds. He's rearing back, get out of the way. So we could chunk that out, but let's just move forward.
Why chunk it out and just maybe go 10x speed?
Do 10x? Okay. You know what?
Yeah,
Here we go. So we're gonna, the attack. You want to do at 10 speed?
Yeah, you know, like the telegraph. Yeah, I think it's now balanced. This is making fun of the master.
Yeah, dude. Sucker punch. Boom. 10 might be a bit fast. I'll lock it at 3. We'll meet you somewhere. All right. So right now it's just the character. He's just animating. We didn't do anything cool with him. So yeah. Okay, doesn't actually walk. We trigger animations with him. So scrolling down here, I put this together for you. We can do lots of different things with it. So this is a Frankenstein of I think the player controller we had on the first person controller. There's a little bit on the camera in here, and there's the calls to all of the animations. So this is kind of a big boy, but I think it's going to work out really well. So that's the updated Gingy moves. All right, let's grab just the interiors. So I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to paste over the thing that we were playing with. Okay, so we'll recap. So we've got our animator. We've got a rigid body. We've got to put a rigid body on him because we're going to use that for actual movement. So one of the things is the animation that I've got in there kind of isn't the best because in the animation he's actually going up, and we want to like physically move him up. So now we're going to be doing both, and he's going to be boosting like crazy. So my bad. The other ones we'll play with later will be different. So we've got our rigid body. We're going to get our move input from a vector 3, and we've got again a character speed, so that we can tell the difference between walking and running. Jump force, jumping is grounded, all that stuff we had before, and then this stuff for the camera. So, and we'll get a camera hooked up to him. So on start, we're going to get the animator and the rigid body. Here we're changing again. You remember this from a couple weeks ago. We're changing the speed based on if someone's holding down shift, right or left shift. And then this is kind of the same as what we did before. This is the movement animation. So if we're getting vertical input, then walking. If not, then we stop the animation. And now we're grabbing all the input from the horizontal and the vertical as a vector 3. And then we're going to move forward our character by the speed if we've got move input. And then the jumping, if they hit the jump button and we're grounded, so we need to give him that little grounded box at his feet. Then we set is jumping to true. We start the animation. We're just at this point, we'll give him a sword and we'll activate some stuff in a little bit. But right now we're just doing the same thing as before. We're just setting that will attack animation or aggressive handshake. And then finally at the end of input, we're getting all our mouse movement, and we're doing the same thing we did before, clamping up and down by 90 degrees, and we're rotating the character around and then moving moving the camera. Or is it just for the rotation? No, that's just rotating the character. Excuse me. We'll get a nice camera on him in a little bit. Okay, and then again, because we're using the rigid body for jumping, we're doing that add force here in fixed update, and then we've got our on triggers for whether he's on the ground or not. Basically, the same controller we had before, the DET basic first person, but we've added in animations and things like that. So we save this. We'll need to do some setup on our character. We'll need to wait for the scripts to compile. All right. So we got this guy. And this, let's see. That's the actual mesh. So I'm gonna do my colliders and rigid body here on the outer empty. As we saw with our cluster trucks clone, it just kind of works better. We'll give them a capsule collider. We'll adjust. Yeah, I scaled mine up just because being an actual size of a gingerbread cookie didn't work. If we're gonna do this like in a Toy Story setting, that's fine. We got a capsule. He's kind of cool. We'll add the rigid body. Let me play with some constraints on the rigid body. I guess we don't want them to rotate anywhere unless we're using the mouse to rotate them. So we'll lock all those. Yeah, that should be fine. We'll just lock the rotation since he's got a capsule collider. We don't want him to like wobble over. And then I will add another box collider at his feet. That's a trigger for that whole are we jumping thing. Yeah, we could turn him into the enemy for sure. That would be wild. Bunch of little gingerbread men just coming at you. Oof.
Like the mini radars. No.
Yes.
Okay. That's set to a trigger. So that'll work, and this is not. All right, let's see if this works. And then we give him a sword. I mean, whatever. Go backwards. We probably need to. Yeah. That transition to the walking animation needs to be a lot faster.
Did they still have exit pylon?
Maybe. Yeah, I'll bet they do. Okay, then we got control. It's punching. Let's see the jump. So you can see we applied force really quick, and he does the hop, and then he does the animation. So we need to play with our animator controller a little bit. So to Xander's point, we don't want an exit time coming out of idle. We want to go straight into whatever that animation is. So all of our outgoing transitions from idle, we're going to turn off exit time. I don't want it to finish his little loop before I start doing the next thing. So I'm turning all those off. That should speed things up. And then coming back to Gingy here, I'm going to give him a better jump than that little hop that he was doing. So we'll change his jump force to 10. And we'll try him out again. Okay, 10 might have been a bit much. But yeah, taking off the exit time from idle really makes the animations feel a lot more responsive. Okay, we're going to play, if we have time. Yeah, we might have time today. We're going to play a little bit with the Cinemachine camera that's going to follow him. But for now, I'm just going to take the camera we've got and make it a child of Gingy and just going to do an over-the-shoulder thing. So I'm going to spin him back around. Drag the camera as a child of Gingy. And then we can start to move it a little bit. Kind of over the shoulder. A little bit of a slide to the side. There we go. Yeah. Jump still doesn't seem right. We'll play with numbers. If I hold down Shift, he's moving faster. Let's go fix that. Okay, we'll give it the camera. Maybe it was already set up for us. I know I've done this before. I'm trying to remember. So I want to speed up the animation of the walking based on whether he's running or not. And so we should have something exposed here in the animator controller. All right, so still trying to figure out how to do life with a trackball. Okay, so walk has a speed of 2. Oh, nice. Okay, I can give it a multiplier. Okay, so I'm going to do a speed multiplier on it. So let me give it a new parameter. And it says it wants to be a float. A new float called walk speed. We'll set it to 1 by default. So it's going to be 1 times 2. And then if I come here to that, we'll just do set float. Walk speed. That outside there. Go. Character speed? Yeah. That works. Oh, yeah, the comma. You're right. Instead of the equals. Okay, so I'm going to set that. So here's the fun part now is character speed is both 5 as walking and 8 as running. So we may have to math that a little bit more, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're never setting it back, are we?
We probably do it when we do this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to do it there underneath that. Whatever the character speed is that we just set, we'll just set there. So animate that set float walk speed. We will adjust that later. Right now, we should see him using the speed force. That's walking. That's running. That's wild. Okay. Again, we'll just math it. All right. So let's take this. And walk speed can be character speed divided by 4. We just made it up. Go. All right, so we got to walk and runs. We do have a definite difference there. Appears to be moving. All right. Jump still goofy. Huh? I'm trying to use the mouse, but it's again I'm switched to trackpad because of the scroll wheel issue, so it's being weird for me. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the script and I'm gonna do a couple of things here. I'm just gonna make another public. We'll do serialized field. That's fine. Do it as a float, and we'll call it walk animation. We're dividing by it. What is that? Divisor? Well, we're multiplying, but we're multiplying by a negative. I mean, we're dividing, right? So, huh? I was going to just set a variable for this. So we got that. We divided by 4, and it was a little too much. So I'm going to set it at 3 to start with. And then I'm going to come down here, and we'll use that variable. Then I don't have to come back and change the code. I can just change it in the inspector. Yeah, the run is still comical enough. Okay, assuming we like all of that we've got set up, and we'll do the weapons later. I'm going to go ahead and save Gingy as a prefab, and let's drop him into our levels. So I need a prefab folder. And our newly set up Gingy goes in there. Save my test scene, and I'm going to go find my cool other scene, dock level. It's already got some flames in there. We can cook this cookie some more. You don't think it needs that? So there's already a camera in here. Just going to delete that, or we'll just undo that. Drag my Gingy prefab in. Oh, he's just underwater. Yeah. Well, we could change the water just to be milk. There we go. We'll just start at the end, and let's see if this even works. Nice. We can cruise around. We need to fix the jump still.
I think that's you can walk on water.
Can he? Is there collision on the water?
Why don't you try and find out?
Well, that much works. Get cooked. Go on, get in there. Get in there. Over a little bit. I like a crispy cookie. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, my wife and most of my kids would almost just rather have cookie dough. Like they just barely cook it. It's like you almost need a spoon to eat the cookie. It's I don't know. They like it real soft. Yeah, no, they enjoy salmonella. Like they like come at me salmonella, and they've survived so far. So yeah, salmon, vanilla salmon. Yes, yeah. Addison is roommates with one of my daughters, so she knows too much. All right, kind of sort of works, and we're running out of time. So we will give this guy a sword on Thursday. Candy cane sword or just a giant, bloodied. Huh? Hey, Gingy's been around before. Okay, this is not his first fight. Yeah, or we can just give him a candy cane. That's fine. So get Gingy set up, and in at least a test level for what you submit. I want Gingy's the main character. Everything we just did today, Gingy's set up. If that's in the test level, that's fine. There's another dude here. We've got Cookie Man, which is back one. So it's another version of Gingy, and he does like this weird like somersaulting jump. So he's a little different. So get both of these guys in and working, and then go from there. I did give you. There we go. There's the robot. I love the robot. We'll look at some of these. So I did the same thing here, and I just searched the asset store for stuff. I think I'm going to use the robot. He's already got animations. They're already chunked out. Remember, we had to go and say frame 60 to whatever. His animation's already set up. We just got to call him from a script. So the robot's good. We've got, is this the guy? Oh, this one's crazy. I don't know. We got some derpy dude with a bunch of costume possibilities. We've got little animal dudes. Yeah, it does look. Yeah, no, gingerbread man's coming after that. We got this guy. I'm not sure if he's got animations or not. Yeah. Or this guy. We could fight this guy with a gingerbread man. There's a lot of them out there. So again, if you just go to the asset store and search for animated character, and then immediately they're like $50, $20, $200, $120. Go free. So filter that price to free. And what I want is we're going to want a total of 4 animated characters before the week's over. So use the gingerbread man, his cookie counterpart, and then grab some more. So there's lots of good stuff out here. Then that you're setting up lots of animation controllers. So good job. You practiced a lot. I'm definitely I think I'm going to do the robot and the goblin, like things that are completely off the rails. I was having problems with, there's a survivalist character, but there was something up with his scripts that I didn't mess with. But yeah, there's just tons of stuff out there. There's a ghost character. I don't know if he's going to have a full walk cycle, but he's there. Does he wobble? Nice. All right. Throw more characters in, and we will work on looking at Cinemachine camera and melee combat on Thursday.
Maybe like a gigantic butterfly down like the club.
So basically Skyrim, but you're a cookie and the dragons are butterflies. Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's do it.